Stormont Assembly needs to wake up and smell the coffee. Everybody is losing their jobs, guys. This is not fair to us to do more work for less money. Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Big Al and this is a serious conversation I'm going to be having. Of course, here I am again talking about Northern Ireland, the protection of Northern Ireland. We are now back in the idea that Northern Ireland's getting more and more restrictions put on the micro sales from GB to Northern Ireland. We dealt in November with the issues on GPSR. If you want to see my video, it was one of the biggest videos on YouTube. There it is there. Talked about the regulation that's required to send products or sell products to Northern Irish customers. Now, this was only really formed for the digitalisation of products for EU. And of course, when that was going through and we were starting to feel the pinch on that, we had our beautiful politicians in Stormont, that is an MLA here in Northern Ireland, voting by a majority of three parties, which were Sinn Féin, SDLP, and my old party, which I stood for. I was a member for many, many years. They voted for it. What does that do? That simply pushes this country to a United Ireland. Now, some of you may agree, some of you may not. The only problem that I have, and I don't care who I pay my tax to, is number one, that we have a transition that is easy. If it's going to be elected that we're a part of United Ireland, the transition is easy. Right now, we've had to pay off 3 staff. We are 3 staff down as a consequence of this issue. We've been hit hard with regulation, and we've been burdened with this red tape in a European Union where we're not a part of European Union. There it is there with GPSR. It's a load of tottle. It's terrible. And if you look at my videos on it, it tells you exactly the same story. Everyone's got over it, but I haven't. We haven't. In Northern Ireland, we haven't. So we've got regulation coming into this country, and it's killing the country as a whole. If you wonder why you, as a Northern Irish viewer, are saying, why is it I can't get stuff on eBay and I can get it on Amazon? Well, eBay have pandered to this European Union so hard that they've more or less eliminated the product sales in Northern Ireland, and they've forced sellers to turn off does not post to Northern Ireland. Whereas Amazon have decided, well, it is what it is. We regulate it, we try our best to regulate it, and we transition it. There's not been affected. Amazon sales have not been affected. There's another thing that's happened recently, and it happened only 2 weeks ago. A video of it here when I was away on holiday. It's about the fact that another courier company, without notice, without notification to anyone in Northern Ireland, so that we could transition, had decided that they were going to put on an extra 30% on fees to deliver. This company is Yodel. Yodel, along with Every, who used to be Hermes, have implicitly charged phenomenal amounts of money in discrimination, in contradiction or contravention of discriminatory laws such as the Equality Act. And the Equality Act says that if you're a national company, you must not discriminate between countries of the United Kingdom. Well, here we are. Please, guys, 93% of you are not subscribed to my channel. Please subscribe to keep the entertainment coming. Thanks for watching. If I sell you a pencil for £3.99, I have to charge an extra 30% to have that pencil delivered to you in London. However, if you live in Northern Ireland, I still have to charge you an extra 30% because Yodel will not take it. If it's Northern Ireland, they still charge for Northern Ireland to Northern Ireland. They basically blanket charged, even though it's intra-country. It's profiteering and greed at its height. And the ones that are benefiting from it is England, not Scotland, because Scotland got hit too. And I'm sure there's lots of Scottish sellers who are giving off about this. The fact that nobody in Stormont seems to give a fiddler's about this country and protecting us from discrimination laws. That's what it's there for. There's acts to protect us, and yet no one in Stormont seems to give a fiddler's. I would advise anyone from Northern Ireland to tell your MLAs you're not going to be voted for next time. As far as I'm concerned, don't vote for them at all. I've given up. As far as I'm concerned, home rule, either through Dublin or through London. I don't give a shit anymore. Don't care. Fed up with it. I'm fed up with it. And now, these plonkers in Stormont have decided in November, just after GPSR hit, to vote for EU regulation in Northern Ireland under the Windsor Framework for another 4 years. And guess who's pandering to it? My supplier, my platform, eBay. eBay have pandered to it, and they have produced documentation from the government to tell me where I'm going to have to pay and suffer more. It's not just me as a seller, it's you as a buyer that I'm complaining about this time, because it's you as a buyer that will receive the alleged CN21 if you buy from a business for a business. So, I'm going to read a few things out here. Under this plan, eBay as usual, they've just put up this thing and say, do it with you as you will. They basically went ahead and told everyone, well, there's your Windsor Framework issue. Deal with it, face it, don't face it, we don't care. They've become very adept into actually dropping Northern Ireland every single fecking time they possibly want to. And there's a lot of money here, but it seems to be that eBay don't want it. Clearly, I actually don't think that eBay want any business at all. As a decision, I went to Vinted, and I'm now getting an extra $3,500 a month in extra revenue because eBay are chasing Northern Irish customers away. So, Vinted or not, Amazon or not, Etsy or not, and Depop or not. So, if you're Northern Irish, I would just say abandon Northern Ireland or abandon eBay, because eBay are not wanting to do business with us. So, we walk. That's all I can say. Use someone else, guys. There are other people offering great services for Northern Ireland on other platforms. So, under the Windsor Framework, the arrangements for sending parcels from Great Britain, that is England, Scotland and Wales, to Northern Ireland, will depend on whether they send from a private individual or a business. Private individuals in Northern Ireland will be able to receive parcels by direct transport from friends, family or businesses in Great Britain as smoothly as they do now. I'm going to suggest that this will not occur. I'm going to suggest that this is what was said to me when I was sending to Dublin, and I had nothing but customs interference, when it happened. So as far as I'm concerned, don't believe this crap as far as you see it. eBay will most likely put issues and directives and concerns. So there are no customs declarations, tariffs or presentations of goods to customs authorities when parcels are sent from another part of the UK to a private individual residing in Northern Ireland for personal use. Carriers will be required to submit data on the parcel movements to HMRC, even though, there it is, the carriers will still be required to do it. What is the data that they need to present? Now, I've got it here. What is the data? So, we've got business to consumer, which is known as B2C, consumer to business, which is known as C2B, consumer to consumer, which is C2C, and business to business is B2B. Now, for consumer to consumer, the data that must be submitted to the carrier based on the information held is the carrier name, the date of delivery, and the name of the address of the sender in Great Britain, the name of the address of recipient in Northern Ireland, the place of delivery in Northern Ireland, the description of goods in the parcel, the number of items, the gross weight, and the value where known. This is a problem for me, because if I'm buying stock that's worth money, I would say them carriers who are dodgy will look at the carrier description and they'll steal what they can see. So we no longer have to pack it, we can put it into a clear cellophane package and then people will steal it anyway, because that document will be available to the courier for them to find out what we're sending through the post. Is that fair? Is that privacy laws being invaded? Why you cover and why you screen it up? Because you do not want the courier to know what it is so they don't steal it. Because there's a lot of theft going on in Hermes and Every and Yodel and Royal Mail at times. So when you buy your product, people are going to know what it is. I feel sorry for you fakies who are buying fakes from England, because you are going to find out that you are going to be imposed with information, or that information is going to be given, or has to be legally given, for the customs and excise, HMRC and the carrier to know what they're sending. That's going to change. Let me ask you this. If you are a GB seller, and you have just been forced to do GPSR, and you've had to do this in order to maintain sales within Northern Ireland and the European Union, are you really going to start sending more documentation to people in Northern Ireland? The answer is no. You're not going to do it. You're going to do it if there's a lot of money in it, but you're not going to do it for something for £6 or £7. That's the market I deal with. So do I have to do the same? Am I having to put customs HMRC stuff by sending documentation or products to Northern Irish customers? We'll only wait and see, because eBay, in their wisdom, have just put up documentation indicating that we have to produce all this information again, voted in by Stormont again, for us to do more work for less money. We're not competitive in comparison to England. We're down 20% already. This is going to kill us again, guys. This is going to destroy Northern Ireland people again. How are we supposed to create more customs declarations for when we live in the United Kingdom? This is not fair to us. It's just disgraceful. It's despicable behaviour. And the people in Stormont did not develop or invite a commission to go and investigate how this will affect Northern Irish people. They look at the big things. Oh, are we going to be able to get logs in from a truck in Ireland? Are we going to be able to import goods by the ton load from Scotland? But what about the micro sales guys? What about the people that are trading, small businesses that are selling from their new hybrid business when they've got a retail shop in the front and they're selling their items from the back via eBay? What are you doing? You're trying to constantly nail, put us into the coffin, into the ground. Stormont Assembly needs to wake up and smell the coffee. Then maybe your coffee is just too beautifully smooth up in Stormont, and it's Italian fine coffee, and you're getting your £90,000 wages per year, plus expenses, plus this, plus that, plus the other. And you get to open these beautiful garden centres and get your names on plaques while you talk about how good you are. But ultimately, we are suffering. I'm suffering. Everybody's losing their jobs, guys. Wake the fuck up. That's all I've got to say. Comments down below. If you like what I'm saying, please like and subscribe. You got something to say? Do it. That's it. Thanks.